Stars. I mean, Cody Rhodes is coming back to the WWE, and I think it's time for us to look back and see how Cody Rhodes could be booked in the WWE. You know, he left AEW where he had all the power, where he had all this creative control, where he could do basically whatever he wants. He can cut whatever promo. Him and his wife can do whatever they want, essentially. And now in the WWE, where everything is scripted and everything has to be run by Vince McMahon, Cody Rhodes now has a difficult task on how he should be booked. One of the biggest things is how Cody Rhodes is going to re-debut back in the WWE. You know, we're at WrestleMania season, times are going wild. Seth Rollins and Austin Theory, a lot of big level people don't have matches yet, and we were almost treated to a tag team match against Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, and The Miz until they said, never mind, here's Logan Paul. So how should Cody Rhodes re-debut back in the WWE? Well, simple. Just make him come back, you know, interrupt the segment, maybe against Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. They seem to be this two big man power trip, and it's easy for them, you know, when they're talking about how amazing they are and how they're gonna beat the tag team champions, Randy Orton, Riddle, all this and that. And here comes Cody Rhodes. Now, depending on how it goes, he could either be loved by the WWE universe or hated by the WWE universe. This is confusing because, you know, he's loved because he's coming back. He has notoriety, you know, all of his stuff back in Legacy, when he was a single, when he was tag teaming with Goldust, Stardust, all this stuff he was good at. But he could be hated because, you know, he was a part of AEW. He created AEW essentially. So this whole new feeling of what they're gonna do with Cody Rhodes is difficult to say. If I had to guess, I would probably have to say he's gonna be cheered as a babyface because, you know, he's a new up and coming guy. He finally left AEW, you know, that bad company that nobody likes. Here comes Cody Rhodes finally coming back and beating, you know, Seth freaking Rollins, I mean, and Kevin Owens, you know, these guys that need to be shut up. And I would say his match at WrestleMania should be against Seth Rollins, mainly because, you know, Kevin Owens is stated to have a match against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Seth Rollins doesn't have really that much to do. Why not have a match against Seth Rollins? You know, those two can probably work and have an amazing match. Like, I think they even had some matches back in 2012, 2013 when they were in the Shield. So why not have Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins? Now, after that, what do you do with Cody Rhodes? It's hard to say, really. You could have him be in some notable feuds, but honestly, I see the WWE putting him back in the IC title, United States title division. You know, he's fighting Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, Sheamus, maybe Drew McIntyre. There's just a lot of guys that, you know, Cody Rhodes can have good matches with, and it's pretty hard to see what you can do with him. I know Cody Rhodes wants to be, you know, in the main event picture against Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and that's good and all, but I don't know how WWE would use him. But that's why I come in. I come and I give my opinions. I give my booking opinions on what they should do with certain characters. I already did one on what they should do with Pete Dunne and Tommaso Ciampa. I already did one with Veer Mahan. Well, I recorded one today about Veer Mahan, so I don't know when the upload schedule would be. Speaking of Tommaso Ciampa, he debuted in the WWE, even though he already competed in Monday Night Raw when NXT was invading. Tag teaming with Finn Balor. I don't know how they're gonna do with him. I'm already sensing vibes that he's just gonna be another one of those guys wrestling, having cold matches and putting guys like Austin Theory over, which is a shame because that shouldn't have happened, because Tommaso Ciampa is a former NXT World Champion. I just saw the match he had in Survivor Series, you know, Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT, and he was like the third one or fourth one out. You know, he went all the way with Keith Lee, who the WWE already had their eyes on, and you already know what the WWE did with Keith Lee, so I'm just seeing how they're gonna do with how they do with Tommaso Ciampa, if they do right with him, if they do wrong with him. And as for Pete Dunne, you know, he's still in NXT having matches and cutting promos there and just having matches in main event. So there's really nothing to say about Pete Dunne. And Veer Mahan is, you know, still yet to come. After the match at WrestleMania, I feel like they should have one more match in Backlash or whatever the next pay-per-view would be. Have that match, have Cody Rhodes win that match, you know, and Seth Rollins. Maybe instead they could switch and have Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. That would be a good series of matches. Then I would decide to have Cody Rhodes move to SmackDown. Now you might be saying, why are you moving Cody Rhodes and SmackDown? We all know that he's gonna face Roman Reigns and he's gonna lose. Well, there's that, and the fact that, well, the thing is, SmackDown airs in Fox, which is a bigger channel than USA Network, where they host Raw and NXT. So why not have Cody Rhodes go into SmackDown, where they can get more drawing power, where they can get an actual good wrestler, so people who aren't good or don't have that much charisma or popularity can go to Raw and, you know, grow themselves, because, you know, it's 3 hours and it's a good enough time to go to Monday Night Raw and just get all your creative, you know, booking failures, all your success stories that you have, then move them into SmackDown, where, you know, you have your big main stories with Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn and Charlotte and all that stuff. Now, after moving him here, he's probably gonna have rivalries with Baron Corbin, Sheamus, and all those other guys. Then he has to appear at the Money in the Bank. Now, clearly Cody Rhodes should win the Money in the Bank, but I don't think he's probably gonna do that, because if he does, we all know he's gonna fail cashing it in to Roman Reigns. And honestly, I feel like it's better if someone else has it than just have it for one guy, have this big opportunity, then lose it and waste it. So Cody Rhodes can do, you know, he's there, he's doing good. Then Cody Rhodes should go for the Intercontinental Champion. Now you might be wondering, why is he going for the Intercontinental Champion if you don't want him to go for the IC Championship and stay in that division? Well, it's simple, because Cody Rhodes, remember, he brought in that white IC title belt, and he could just come in and easily have good matches and promos against Sami Zayn. You know, he says, well, when you were in a Continental Championship, you gave it to someone who couldn't defend it, you gave it a bad title design. When I came in, I gave it prestige, everybody liked it, I gave it honor, how it should be, and you could immediately have a match against that. You know, Cody Rhodes could win that title again, good feel moment, and then before that title, you know, before he goes into another rivalry, maybe he has some bad blood with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns costs him the match against Sami Zayn, and then you can, you know, have him end that one rivalry and go into another one strong. Then around Survivor Series, TLC time. Now it's safe to say that Cody Rhodes is probably going to lose to Roman Reigns. I feel like having Cody Rhodes wrestle Roman Reigns only for him to be barely close, or having to lose because the Bloodline or Paul Heyman come and cost him the match, is better, because it makes him still look strong. Unlike that one time Finn Balor faced Roman Reigns and he just lost mysteriously. Like, remember when that one top rope turnbuckle just unknowingly fell? You know, it was never discussed that, oh, Paul Heyman or the Usos came in and unscrewed it, that's why he lost. No, it's just something happened. It was never explained why it happened. You know, maybe we could get a rematch later on and say, you know, I lost because he was bullshit, you know, with his Irish accent. And of course, after that big high profile match, you can easily have Cody Rhodes turning heel. Now, Cody Rhodes turning heel is going to be easy, because he could be like, you know, I came here in the WWE because, you know, came here for the money. I didn't come here because I liked you guys. I came here for the money. And the best guy to wrestle Cody Rhodes around WrestleMania is Edge. Those guys were my childhood back in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and having those two wrestle would be amazing. Edge could come in and say, you know, I came back in the WWE because I wanted to come back and see the fans. I wanted to have that reaction again. You only came here for the money. So and so, Bash and Bash, whatever. Cody Rhodes, Edge, WrestleMania, book events. And that's pretty much what you can do with Cody Rhodes now. You know, we don't even know if he's going to the WWE. He could go back to New Japan, or unironically, he could just retire from wrestling and go do his reality shows and whatever he's doing. But I think he's going to the WWE. I think that's wrong to book him as a babyface at first, then turn him heel. You know, he feuds with Roman Reigns, feuds with Sami Zayn, and finally at WrestleMania 39, he could feud with Edge and have a good match. And then we'll see how from that he goes. Cody Rhodes is a special wrestler. He's amazing in the ring. He's a good heel. Unironically, how he was booked in AEW trying to be a babyface, even though I swear everybody's saying, oh, he's already a heel. He already knows he's a heel. No, he's not a heel. If he was a heel, he would have already said, he would have denounced the fans. He would have said all this. Why is he over there still saying, I created AEW for you guys. I ended racism. No, he didn't. Shut up and stop smoking that copium. You're fooling yourselves, and the more you fool yourselves, the less you're gonna see.